Well, hello everyone. It's the UK Resistance. Okay, kind of like a part 2 of my Hamburg video. I've been chatting to this gentleman who has a YouTube channel with these 2 videos on it. I'll try and pronounce this correctly. Macht durch Weisen. I hope I've said that right. My German's not great. Anyway, his channel means power through knowledge, so great name. He has allowed me to use 2 of his videos that he's put up. Go ahead and check these out yourself. I'm not using them in their entirety. So if you want to see them at proper speed or complete, then go ahead and have a look at them yourself. So thank you very much for your help for making this video. I hope I do your videos justice. So thanks again. So let's have a look. So if you remember rightly, my last Hamburg video about the stabbings in the supermarket started at this venue here, and we dissected generally the information that had been put on the news regarding the scene of the crime. Well, thanks to the YouTuber Power Through Knowledge, as I've already mentioned, I've had some more details. And in my last video, I asked if anyone could tell me where the attacker was actually arrested, because I couldn't find it on Google Maps. Well, he has come forward and shown me, and not only that, he's done a complete walkthrough, so I'm going to definitely be using that in this video. So let's get started. So this lady is Catherine Hennings, and herself and some others were part of a press conference. I'd just like to add that a lot of the information that I've been given by Power Through Knowledge does have what is German speaking, so there is an element of issues with translation, although I have what she said translated, and I do have some videos with German commentary, so I may miss certain bits of information. I'm doing my best with this. It's difficult when it's an event that's happened abroad. Yeah, we just have to rely on translations and interpretations, so let's get on with it. So this is Catherine Hennings. Catherine Hennings, as you can see here, is the leader of the investigation team for this event. Lots of people gave some information at this press conference, but I'm actually going to focus on 2 people. One is Catherine Hennings, and the other is Ralph Martin Mayer, who's the Hamburg police president. Purely because their accounts give a kind of step-by-step general account of the actual events that happened on that day regarding the actual attacks. So let's start with Ralph Martin Mayer. So he states, "We received the first call at 11 minutes past 3. The deed was at 10 past 3. So just a translation issue there. Obviously means the attacks happened at 10 past 3. So the person who phoned in to the police about this attack had said that a person was attacking people with a knife in the Edeka supermarket. So the police immediately sent forces. They say it was unclear at this point whether it was amok or terror, so I'm assuming that just means a general attack or a terror attack. And again, they go into, after Munich, yeah. So they always drag out previous events. So he says the first officers who arrived were plain-clothed officers. They saw men at the Hellbrückstraße surrounding one person. Right, now, Power Through Knowledge has given me this amazing map of the event. And as you can see, this, hope you can see this, this is the street the event took place. Okay, so up here is the Edeka supermarket, where people have been attacked, and we'll go through that in a second. And down here is where the actual attacker was arrested. So the police, when they arrived, according to this statement, the first officers who arrived, plain-clothed, saw men at the Hellbrückstraße surrounding one person. So saw the attacker at the end of the pursuit, where they'd got him down and held him, which would be where, if I can find it, where this video was shot, if you remember rightly. Here. So that's at the end of the pursuit, and we'll come back to that in a second too. They fired warning shots apparently because the situation was unclear to them. Then they determined that the person attacked was the perpetrator. So the person who these guys had attacked on the floor was the person who had had the knife. So everything was fine. They handcuffed him, called for an ambulance because he had head injuries, which they stated was caused by members of the public chasing him, throwing chairs at him. Okay, so how does that mesh up with what we know? Well, Hennings, who's the leader of the investigation team, who I'm assuming would know every single detail, states that this happened and there are slight differences. So she goes into a bit more detail. The attacker went to Edeka and bought sandwich toast. It's a German thing probably, or a translation, I'm not sure, either way. He left the supermarket, entered a bus, but immediately left the bus again. It is unclear why. Okay, strange detail to put in, but I suppose she's setting the scene that he actually left and then returned. How they know he entered a bus and left again, unless they've had time to speak to the bus driver, someone witnessed it from the supermarket. There's no CCTV given to us yet, so not sure where they got the information from. Regardless, let's have a look. So he then went back into a Edeka supermarket. Again, the times tally up here fine. 3:10 and 3:11, police received the first call for help. Okay, so that tallies up with Ralph's statement. So the attacker, went straight to a shelf of kitchenware and took a kitchen knife with a 20-centimetre long blade, tore it out the packaging, ran towards the victim. Okay, let's just deal with the knife issue first of all, okay? Now, there is a little bit of a reenactment here regarding the knife. Just find that for you. Here we go. Let's have a look. This is how they've reenacted him getting the knife. I just want you to see what they think, or what knife they think he took from the shelf.
Küchenmesser. Greift ein Messer mit einer 20 cm langen Klinge, reißt es aus der Verpackung. Dann stürmt der Islamist mit der Waffe auf die Kunden zu.
Okay, so you see the knife, and I believe it to be this knife that Edeka store, that you can get from an Edeka. This is Edeka online, and this is quite important. So 20 centimetres, that's the size of the knife they're stating he took. Okay. And Edeka do sell this knife. Now, I refer to this being Edeka online because I'm a bit sceptical as to whether you could actually buy this knife in the supermarket. Now, what I'm going off for that is the laws in Germany. So, German knife laws, this is off Wikipedia. Lots of different bits and pieces, but then the all knives, if you see here, all knives with fixed blades over 12 centimetres are regarded as restricted use knives. So as we can see from this, yep, it's over 12 centimetres and it's a fixed blade. Okay, it's all part of the same piece of metal. It's a switchblade, thing like that. So when it's a restricted use knife, it means they may be carried if transported in a locked, sealed container. Right, so did that knife look like it was in a locked, sealed container? It doesn't say here that you're not allowed to sell them, okay? But I'm assuming that if you're selling them, they would have to be stored in the shop in a locked, sealed container. Now, even if they're not, and it's just purely for transport that they have to be in a locked, sealed container, what is the likelihood of you buying one of those from a shop and having a locked, sealed container to transport it in? Okay, so the minute you leave the shop with that knife, you're breaking the law. So generally what would happen is they wouldn't sell such big knives. Okay, now online, yes, I could understand them selling it because through the delivery process, they can be locked and sealed and in a safe transport. And then when they get to your house, that's up to you what you do with it. But it's just through transport. So I'm just questioning. And also again, when I spoke to Power Through Knowledge about this, he said that as far as he was aware, Edeka don't stock those knives in their shops. He hasn't seen them. So just something to think about as to whether that was even in the store in the first place. Okay. So apart from that, he tore it out the packaging, ran towards the victim, who later deceased, died, and attacked him brutally. Okay, bear that in mind. He didn't just run past, and slice this poor guy or this guy. He attacked him brutally without any warning. But then, I have to sigh, he attacked the person next to the first victim and wounded him most seriously. Anyone tell me what's wrong with this picture? Right, if I'm standing next to someone who's been stabbed and attacked brutally, am I still going to be standing there waiting for my turn? Covered this in the Borough Market thing, where two people were together. That was a knife attack too, and they just stood together. Apparently this guy knifed one and then knifed the second one, like he just stood there waiting to have his turn. Really? So, yeah. They then went to the entrance and attacked another male who was 19 years old. Attacked them gravely, so not killed, but wounded. So let's have a look at this. So this is the map of the events, and here we have at the very beginning when the Edeka stabbing occurred, we have one guy who died. He was a male, aged 50, and then we have the two others that were stabbed, including the 19-year-old male at the entrance to the Edeka market. So let's continue. I hope this is making sense. It's a lot of information to get through. After he committed these 3 crimes in the supermarket, he left and bumped into 2 people who were standing at their bicycles. Okay, he just bumped into them and decided to attack them. So he attacked and injured the 2 of them. Random. And then also injured another female cyclist. But not with his knife this time. Why he decided not to use his knife and what he injured her with, I don't know. Because you got one hand with him. Why would you injure her with something else? What, you just punch her? When you've been round, you've already stabbed 5 people. But he decided not to use his knife on her. Can we just also make a mental note of the aggression in this and how brutal it is and how messy it would have been and how much blood would have been everywhere. That's important later on. Then he injured another 64-year-old man and badly injured him. So let's look at the map. So they've moved down from the Edeka. He's bumped into the 2 cyclists where he's hurt them, and a female as well, and then this guy across the road near Woolworths. I didn't even know that there was someone on that side of the road that got hurt. Let's just have a look at it on the map, shall we? So here's the supermarket. Here's Woolworths, so some guys got hurt on this side of the road. And the 2 cyclists were outside here. If you remember my last video, if you've watched it, if you haven't, go check it out. I'll give you a bit more detail. These are the steps outside which the forensic lady with her Nike on was standing taking evidence and highlighting evidence. So this, assume, is the evidence involved in the 2 people being attacked who were next to their bikes. At this moment, citizens who had been witnessing what was going on, right, and this is literally in minutes, again, the timeline, super fast, began pursuing the perpetrator and attacking him with items. Now, we've seen that in this, and I'm just going to play a bit of this and break down a little bit of stuff that I've observed as I've watched it. I might put it on. I shall put it on full screen. I'm actually going to mute it. So if you notice here, this is Arab, the guy I pointed out in my last video with the great name badge. who is seen in one of the videos, this video, shaking hands. This is his hand here. Someone congratulating him. Yeah, so that's this guy here. You can tell by what he's wearing. Let's watch this some more. So they're continually throwing chairs at him, and it's like they throw them at the point at which they know he's going to see it coming. They're not actually going to do him any harm for a start. Notice there how they both, I'll just take that back a second. Both these guys look back at the camera in this car that's filming them. There they go. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think, let me have a look here. Yeah. So the this car we believe to be the plainclothes policeman. Bear that in mind because there's a crossover here that's kind of not making any sense. So we'll come to this bit in a minute. Okay, so here we see, it goes, in this moment the plainclothes officers arrived where you saw the car turn up there. And all this happened within a few minutes. I'll come back to this statement in a minute because I just want to cross-reference something. If you remember rightly, the police president Ralph had said the first officers who arrived were plainclothes officers. They saw men at the Hellbruckstrasse surrounding one person. Well, we know that this event, we know that this event happened first, and that plainclothes police officers, according to Hennings, had come across them a few minutes after the actual attacks, witnessing citizens pursuing him, which is the scene we see in the video. So something doesn't add up right there. Either the first plainclothes officers were on the street seeing the guy being attacked with chairs, or it was at the end when he was on the floor already stopped. That's fishy, huh? Okay, back to where I was. So she also states that the perpetrator was arrested in Hellbruckstrasse after he'd managed to run away and attack another female person in Schwalbenstrasse. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. And he still had his knife in his hand when he was arrested. Right, we're going to get into that. So again, we look at this map. This is just what we've gone through. So two groups on either side of the road have, where these blue squares are, have started pursuing the attacker and started throwing chairs at them, where the plainclothes police officers have turned up in a car. We'll go down to that site here. So they've come along here. He's attacked people on the bike. Now people are chasing him, and he comes down the road. On the main road he's running. This here is the scene of where that film was taken. If we back it up, we can see the tunnel. You see the bridge, rather, the top of the bridge there. So this is where it's happened. And then I'm going to show you the video that Power Through Knowledge has done. He's on a walkthrough, which is brilliant. And that walkthrough comes all the way down here with some good detail on it that I'm going to show you, and then nips into here. So let's have a look at that. I've sped it up 2 times just to save time, but please go along and have a look at it in proper time. He doesn't actually narrate over it, it's just street sounds, but you're welcome to go and have a look at that. That'd be great. Let's put that on mute. So we can see here they've set up flowers to remember victims, as always. And I'll point out down here, just as we get level over here, just past these guys. Okay, so just here, these are the steps that lead into this shop. And this is where the woman with the Nike trainers, the forensic officer, was doing her yellow spray, taking evidence. And then again, here in front of us, I think is where the bikers were. And this is where it had blood, or blood written. just in case you wondered what the evidence was. And it's a stark reminder for everybody who walks past. Nice bright yellow area with blood written on it. So that's again, so just so you know, we're in the right area here. So the perpetrator was being chased now after attacking the two on the bike, and he was running down the street. Just see the bridge here in the distance? That's where the plainclothes police officers turned up. Oh, more. See, this is another thing. Along here, this guy points out more yellow spray, which is what they use to highlight evidence areas. Why is anything there? I haven't come across anything, and there may be, but I haven't come across anything that states that anything happened on that piece of path. Anyone was attacked. They're now in the middle of the road. Okay, they're throwing chairs at the guy in the middle of the road over here. We see the bridge. They would be down here. What was going on over here? Nothing. So I don't know why things... I honestly think it's just so that the whole way down that strip, members of the public can instantly see these yellow marks and be reminded of what happened. Just my opinion. So, okay, yeah. This is where that footage was filmed. Look, again, more yellow marks on the floor. There was no need for that. There was one down here too, if you saw that. And as we get further down, we'll get to the part where they turn in. And they turn in that way, but the plainclothes police officer in the car can't follow them because, as you see here, there's these poles set up so cars can't get onto this bit here. And also, as you turn in, there's furniture and bits and pieces all in the way. This is definitely just pedestrianised. So they head off the main strip, and he's pursued down this way. See here, this is the road that we've gone down. So down here. Okay. The video this guy's done is great because I can get down that way. Here we go. But it gives a better view. See, there's lots of blocking off on this because it's residential. It's really difficult to use this. So I'm glad he's made that video. So I'd just like to point out as well that actually while he's running away and he's being pursued by these people, plainclothes police officer is still in his car, obviously trying to determine where he's not gotten out and chased them. You would get out and chase, right? I don't care if you're in plainclothes. He's not given chase. He stayed in the car. I don't know where he's gone, to be fair, whether he or a different set of plainclothes police officers are the ones that have discovered the guy on the floor at the end after the pursuit. I've no idea. So as this attacker is running away and these guys are following him, he's managed to stab someone else. So what is the point in these guys following him? Right, I'll show you on this video whereabouts. If I just let this play. Okay, so they're pursuing him down here, and he gets down to the bottom of this road and he'll turn right. And then down that road about halfway, if I remember rightly, he attacks another woman. So, right, these guys that are following him are big guys, okay? I'll show them to you in a minute. There is absolutely no reason why they couldn't have taken him out. Okay, he had a knife, but there was 5 of them, and they were throwing things at him. Not very well, I might add, but if they were genuine, they could have got that knife on him, they could have got him down earlier. Are they partly responsible for the death of some woman or the injuries of some woman? So here we go, we turn right down this street, and down this street somewhere another woman was attacked. It's just ridiculous. Okay, so before we turn down this end, because this is down this street, when we turn right down this street is where the pursuit ended. Okay, so just going to have a look at some more. Let's just have a look here. Yeah, I'm going to head off down the same route so I can line up the maps. Here we go. No, I've gone the wrong way. It's down there. Here we go. Sorry about that. I don't know Hamburg at all, as you can tell. Right, so we also have a piece of footage. I've slowed it down. Let's have a look here. So this guy is who they are claiming is the attacker. Well, there's no way of really proving that, because the pictures that we get of him laying on the floor or having chairs thrown at him are really bad. I mean, the quality is horrendous, so you couldn't identify him anyway. And then when we see him later on when he has his picture taken, well, he's got a hood on. So who knows if that's a person. And that's the whole point. They can, you know, they knew that he was going to be out in the street. So people were going to be able to identify him. So make the film rubbish, put a hood on his head. It's just so random. And this video goes into showing you the second part of the footage that was filmed. Here's the guys with the chairs. And someone, I think he's got a, I don't know what that is. I don't know. Golf club or something? Again, I've slowed it down. I hope it's not too slow for you. Because I wanted to highlight something in particular about this video. And actually about all of them. Here we go. Right, this is the knife guy. He's got the knife in his hand, or what we see. But, classic, absolutely no blood on him at all. None. He has just gone around and brutally attacked people with a 20cm long knife, and he has not one iota of blood on him. That in itself is enough for you to go, well, either he didn't do it, or if he did, someone's lying. Or if someone's saying he did it, they're lying. Nothing on him. And here they go, they throw chairs and stuff at him. I mean, bear in mind that before he got to this point, because this now is towards the end, see these grated doors? This is where they're walking past. And the actual pursuit ends just up here. Okay, so they're now literally walking along this last bit. So any minute now they're going to take him down, although you don't actually witness that. Got no footage of that. Sorry, it's difficult to find the... Here we go. So they're still in pursuit of him. What is he negotiating? What's this? Keep going, mate. We're not quite at the point at which we're supposed to be like taking you. Look, he's... Is he point? Are they pointing? Further, look, he's further down. Go further down, mate. Further down. Keep going. Okay. So the next thing I want to bring to your attention is this piece of footage, which is taken out of someone's window. Right, number one, look how dark it is. The cars have their headlights on. They've got umbrellas up. You can tell it's wet and it's raining. They look down. And here's the guy on the floor. Now, these guys here are not the ones that knocked him down to the floor, okay? Those guys are, if I can get, here we are. This is what they look like, okay? If that's not them. Back to that bit. No. It could be these guys here, that could be them. But what are they doing over there? Now, one of the important things I wanted to point out, and this is to do with a timeline. In my opinion, and I used to be in the voluntary police force, but as far as I'm aware, and to the best of my knowledge, this guy does not have his hands handcuffed. And I'll tell you why I believe that. When your hands are handcuffed, they're usually parallel. His hand is touching his wrist, so handcuffs would not reach from that wrist to that wrist at that angle. He's holding his arm in that position and he's got that one laying across. He's not handcuffed. So, according to what we're told, he was, if I can just find the statement, one second. Yep, here we go. They handcuffed him and called for an ambulance. So this is when they literally come across them. This is when everyone was surrounding him, so he'd just been taken down. But no. And if you look at just before this, the police cars have just arrived. So this is just at the beginning. So why is he not getting up? Why is he not getting up and running away? There's no one standing guard on him. Right? It's pouring down around and everyone's just getting out of the way and getting shelter. And he's not dead. He's just had a few injuries from chairs. He's alive. You can tell there's nothing wrong with him, because although they said they called an ambulance, he's not put in an ambulance. He's put in a police car with a bag over his head. That makes sense, doesn't it? And note, again, like I said, the rain. Now, this is definitely the right area. Please take note of this red pole, this red bin, I think it is, and this black marked area here as we walk down towards it. There we go. So we're coming up to it here. This is the bus stop. See the red pole and the red bin? And this area was filmed by the car. This is like a power box of some sort. And here's the black line that we see here. Okay, and see this square here where his legs are laying on? Gentleman here in this video is going to point that out. Here we go. That's where the guy landed, or where he was left. So brilliant. I can take you to that here on Google Maps. Now bear in mind, this map is old. This map is 2008. So the actual bus stop doesn't exist on this map, but the power box thing does. So it's in this area here. And further up here is where the, if I zoom out, so yep, we're here, and just up here and here is where the helicopter landed. Okay, helicopter landed here. It says officials were down this end of Hamburg, which would have been down here. I don't think they would have seen what was going on from up there. Maybe. Okay, so after we've seen this, where it's obviously been raining heavily, he's been left in the street, he's not moving, his arms are not handcuffed, so he's either a dummy or he's purposely holding his arms there in that way. And people are up against the building sheltering from the rain. So we have to assume that this happened first, okay, before police arrived. So then we need to explain this, because this is after police have arrived. And I'm just going to mute it. And as you can see, it looks like it might be slightly damp, but it's light for a start. Cars do not have their headlights on. And as the video plays out, it actually starts to rain. We see people looking up. There's a helicopter actually, so they look up at the helicopter. You actually start seeing the rain coming down now. And this guy now looks like he's got his hands in handcuffs because they're parallel to each other. I still don't know if this guy is a real guy or not. Anyway, beside the point. So the timeline is all wrong. Part of it's staged beforehand, who knows? It's not adding up. I don't believe it. And I think, oh, and here, this part as well, he still had his knife in his hand when he was arrested. Well, the piece of footage we saw earlier, so it's difficult for me, there is no knife anywhere. So if police have already arrested him here, where are they? Where's the ambulance? Where are the police? He's not handcuffed. There's no knife. It doesn't add up. Something's astray. It's not right. I'll take you again back to this bit here. See how dark it is? People have their lights on. Is this later on? Has he been left in the street for hours? No. It don't make sense. So, I am going to say I do not believe this event to be real. At least huge elements of it not to be real, and therefore probably all of it. Thank you so much again to Macht durch Weisen or power through knowledge. Hope my German is good enough. Really appreciate your help with this. And yeah, I think I'm going to draw a line under this one now. Have a good day, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in.